Okay, I know it's a little early. Okay, for some people, depending on where you're at, and for other people, not as early. I guess it depends where you're at. You know how I do things. I don't announce I'm coming up. I'm just here. That's right. Okay, and if you hear what I have to say, you don't. If it's archived, you'll get to see it. If not, I guess I'll have to take a copy of the live stream that I'll have on my desktop when I'm done and put it somewhere else. Okay, but the topic I'm going to talk about isn't something I commonly dive into with people, but it's something I feel that I need to do. Okay, I really do. Because it ties into everything. It really does. And unfortunately, because evil runs our planet, because people have been so lied to so bad for so long and so divided, okay, they're following the social engineering, which leads them to following the dark side. A lot of people, I'm not a Bible buff, I'm telling you that right now, never really been. Went to Sunday school as a kid because I was made to as a child, right? And on Sundays, we'd go to Sunday school and then go to church. And Wednesday nights, every now and again, we would wind up in church, but most of the time just on Sunday as kids growing up. Okay, but my life experiences in my life, things that I've actually had happen and my family had happen in the years that I've been here on earth. I've experienced things, and I don't care what anybody tells me. I know what I experienced. Okay, my family I grew up in a house that was well over 100 years old to begin with. Okay, it was in really good shape, but the houses back then are built to last for hundreds of years. So there it is, anyhow. But this house actually had a ghost in it. And I know some people, oh, you're full of it. There ain't no such thing as ghosts. You have no idea what you're talking about. You haven't the first clue. Ghosts are quite real, okay? And possession, like the Exorcist, quite real. It's not an imagination, it's not an hallucination, it is for real. And we've been lied to on the Richter scale by the elite and our society and our television set and our music industry and on and on and on, okay? We've all been lied to in that type of manner. So bad that we've lost track of who we are. We're all divided. We're all fighting each other. We all go along with what our TV set tells us and our so-called leaders tell us, and your so-called leaders are nothing more than puppets to a very evil entity. You know, and I'm not even a Bible buff, but I'll tell you what, there's a demonic force that's most likely from another dimension. And I know you think I'm crazy. You think there's a hell and a heaven and blah, 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 right? Well, I'll tell you what, there's so much that I can call wrong with the religious community we have in this world. You could look and see that the churches did come under attack for real, okay? And have been being controlled for many, many decades now because they came under attack. You can pay attention to things, but I grew up in a house that was haunted. I experienced other hauntings after I was older, okay, including my deceased younger brother. I know this stuff is quite real. And I know that there's evil and demonic forces, and I know that we are an energy form. That's right. Human beings are an energy form, but we're a low vibration, low energy form. And electricity is something people don't understand. With electricity is also frequencies. Okay? In many different levels. Just like how do you think they got different radio stations on a radio? Frequencies. And every single channel is a different frequency. This stuff goes on, but I'll tell you what. It's for real. And so what we have is, let's just call it Satan. How many of you people have heard of that name, Satan, Lucifer, evil? Yep, let's just call the demonic entity Satan, and let's call what's really going on is the people sitting up at the top, like the Committee of 300 that most of you people never talk about, know anything about. Okay, the Rothschild dynasty, these people that are running and pulling the strings of this world, okay, well, unfortunately, are very evil, and they don't have the best intentions for us. No, they don't. And as crazy as it sounds, I don't care how crazy you think it sounds, but there's a lot of truth that's been hidden from us. And even in the Bible and Quran, there's some truth in there, but there's also lies in there and propaganda in there to steer you the wrong direction. Okay, because mankind's dipped their hands into everything, and evil is running our planet. And all you got to do is look at your behaviors. All you got to do is look how you treat each other. Them are all low vibrations. Them are all low energy. Okay? And we are an energy form. I don't care what you tell me you are. Your heart is like a combustible motor in a car. One half of the heart has gas in it, and the other half of the heart has electricity. Electric. Where did the electricity in your heart come from? What do they put a pacemaker in for? Because that provides the electricity when the heart messes up. When that area of the heart messes up. Do you remember where you plugged your fingers or your toes or somewhere in your body into the wall to charge up every night? No, I bet you don't. Okay. Do you know where you put your batteries in then? I bet you don't have. That's right. But you do have electricity. Because our consciousness, our soul, our spirit, whatever you want to call it, is electric. It is an electric form. And because there's so many forms of electricity and frequencies and variance, and we're a low vibration, David Icke would have been telling you the truth that we're sitting in one little speck. Okay? When you die, you're not dead. Your vessel that you've been walking around in dies. I know it sounds crazy to you, but it's real. And you know where everybody's really, the reason we are always in war, the reason we're always in conflict, the reason we're so divided. Oh, what's divide and conquer? Well, yeah, it's that, but that's being ruled and run by evil, okay? And the only way good can win against evil is when good fights back. And when you pass to the other side, if you don't have yourself in the right spot frequency-wise, I think you're going to be in a lot of hurt. I really do. I think you're going to be dealing with higher energy forms, demonic, that has no good intentions for you, that will be able to control you. You may not die, but you can be really messed up by higher electric forms because they're electric like you're electric and your consciousness, and I'm sorry, but that's what you are. Okay, that's what all of us are. You may not want to believe it, but it's true. You know what needs to happen for you to have a happy life after you pass to the other side and to be protected from demonic forces? You have to have true care, true love, not just for your selfish self. See, that was part of the social engineering. Who do we look out for? Number one, what do we see a gigantic epidemic of? Selfishness. What do we see in women's behavior? Selfishness. This is what we see. We see greed, we see selfishness, we see everything that prevents you from being in that right frequency, that will keep you at a lower frequency. Because, see, men and women in a family unit, when people actually care about one another, took the time to get to know each other, when you can put yourself in somebody else's shoes to think about what your actions might feel to them so that you don't do things that you wouldn't want done to you. But most people don't want to do that, do they? No. You can't get people to do that, right? No. It's all about yourself. Who cares what they feel? Who cares what I do to them? I sure don't. I feel big when I do it to them. Oh, I hurt them. Oh, man, I feel so big now. I'm powerful, man. I'm above them. Yeah, because I hurt them. Yeah. Yep, that's evil. That's low frequency. Life is a struggle. You have to be able to communicate with others. You have to be able to give respect to each other. Mutual respect. Other respect has to be earned. Okay? You have to be able to care about people you don't even know. And you have to be able to have forgiveness for wrongs done unto you. And I mean it. Unconditional forgiveness. Like real love is unconditional forgiveness. Learning and growing stronger and caring. Caring for others. And wanting what's right for others and not doing wrong on others. It's not a game. It's not a competition. It's not arena. It's not the stuff you've been told and taught. You've been led away from the path that you need to be on if you want a higher energy form. Yeah, that would be correct. To hell by the dashboard right there. I appreciate, not hell by the dashboard. I'll get my head straight one of these days. I wasn't even looking right because my vision went blurry right there for the light on the computer. So I adjusted it. Now I see what he says clearly. Okay, we make electricity from food and biochemical reaction. That's right. We get our electricity from food, from the atmosphere, and from what you said, okay? We get our gas from the same place. Think about it. You need water to live. What's inside water? Hydrogen. Think about it. Your body's an electric. Your body pulls the hydrogen from the water. And that's where you're getting the fuel, the gas on the one side of the heart. You're electric, your soul, unfortunately a lot of people don't realize this, but it don't die. When you die, it don't die. It's still alive. Okay? That's for real, man. Your eyes are like that of a scanner at a grocery store. Everything you see is a frequency, like if you're in, what do you want to go, a gigantic hologram, or like you're in everything you see is a code that your eyes see that you don't recognize it as a code because your brain is like that of a computer and a processor. It does it at such fast speed you could never even see the difference, man. You look at a house to see a house. But what your eyeball saw was a code. What your brain saw was the picture from that code. Just like a computer. And yes, they can control you through frequencies. They could put a higher frequency on you and make you sick and kill you. They can do all kinds of nasty things to you, all through frequency. The key to keeping yourself correct and on the right frequency is by having real care, real love, real connection. That creates a higher frequency that the demonic side don't like. They can't feed on it. The demonic side feeds on low vibration, low energy. You don't believe there's a demonic side because you don't believe in blah, blah, blah. I don't care what you believe, and I just really don't care. I know this stuff to be factual true. I really do. I know this stuff to be factual truth. And your only way is to understand and educate yourself. And in a world where you're lied to from the day you're born, educating yourself, you have to do for yourself because your society's education is to lead you to the path of darkness. And I'm not even a Bible buff. I haven't gone to church in years. But I'll tell you what, I hadn't went to church in years, and I was with my son's mother. I spent 28 years alone. Didn't go to church. I mean, after I wasn't a kid no more, I didn't go to church or Sunday school no more. Are you kidding me? Nope, I sure didn't. I was like the most of people. We didn't talk about politics or religion. Didn't want to know anything about that stuff. I was a sheep walking around just like the rest of you in my 20s. And I had the years with my son's mother, and I learned a lot of stuff along the way on relationships. I really did. But over my life, I keep educating myself, and I've had the house I grew up in that was haunted. I worked at the a country club that was haunted. No lie, okay? I was in my aunt's house, and it had a ghost in it. I mean, this is no lie. And my deceased brother was in the house I had in Nebraska with my ex. And something else came into the house with him, scared the crap out of the neighbor when I was at my grandma's funeral. See, my grandma had passed away, and my ex and I climbed in the vehicle, and we went out of state, and we had 2 cats, and our neighbor, we used to go over and shoot cards with them and drink coffee and BS with each other, and they were an older couple than us, Jack and Helena, and they had their cats and stuff and their dog, and I had 2 cats, so I give Helena the key to the house. She said she'd watch the cats if I wanted, and I said sure, and because she loves cats and animals, so she'd come over twice a day to take care of the cats and visit them a while and make sure they were fed and all this stuff. And when I come back from the funeral, she's telling me, Bill, I got to tell you something. And her husband, Jack's yelling at her, and he's dead serious, man. He's angry with her. He says, keep your damn mouth shut. You ain't telling them nothing. In a very foul tone of voice at her, and she screamed at him, fuck you, you know, all that kind of stuff, excuse my language. She went off on him. And then she tells me, Bill, your house was haunted. I didn't tell her anything about what was going on in the house. I literally did not tell her. And she proceeded to tell me the things that happened. Okay, and I'd already known things were happening that shouldn't be happening. Okay, I grew up in a house like that, and I've had this stuff hanging around me for some reason in my life, so I'm very aware of this stuff. Okay, I walked into that basement house after I got my keys, because that's what it was, and I went into the room that we slept in, and we had turned the heat down. It was winter time, so we turned it down to save on the bill a little bit, not freeze the gas, but keep it a little bit lower. Turned the heat back up. It's a bit nippy in there, and it's okay. Let me go get a sweater. So I go in the room, kick on the light, and I got a closet that's 2x4 framed with paneling nailed to the outside that was there when I bought the house. But the inside of the closet didn't have no paneling or drywall or anything on it. It was just the frame, the 2x4 frame. And there was only one metal rod, steel rod, going from one side to the other. Okay? And I reached up and slid freaking some shirts across to get to the sweater, and sparks come flying off of it, and it tripped a breaker and killed the light in my room, the light in the hallway, the light in the bathroom, the light out the living room. And I was really, so I had to go out and find a breaker, and I flip the breaker, behind comes the lights, and I go back in there looking for what line is against this. How did I blow a breaker sliding shirts across the rod? And I looked, and well, guess what? That wall didn't have no electricity on it whatsoever. No, not one wire in that entire wall. Okay. Nope. Even went up in the attic and looked down. I dug into that shit deep, and then I realized, oh crap. How did that happen? Electricity is where it can't be. How could electricity just jump across the air and go into wiring to trip the breaker that's coated against the electricity getting through it? Okay? You grab onto a wire or a piece of Romex and you wire a house, even if it's plugged in, you're holding it when it's turned on and it's got electric in it, you ain't getting fucking electrocuted from touching it. I mean, but that wire is well protected. The electricity's running through the copper. It's got the coating on the inside and the coating on the outside. Don't know. But somehow electricity tripped the breaker. Okay? Burn a hole in my freaking shirt. Blew us away, man. So what did I end up doing? We were sleeping on a waterbed, and this crazy thought goes through my mind, and it says, fuck, what happens if the waterbed decides to spring a leak in the middle of the night? Well, that electricity shows up where it can't be. Hell, guess what we didn't do? We didn't sleep on that waterbed that night. Oh no, even though we just come home, we were sleeping on a concrete floor. with carpeting on it, hard as a rock, okay? And we went out and got some air mattresses, and we were there for 2 weeks, and then we got paid. We went and bought another bed, and we spent the time draining that water bed, and we got rid of it and put a regular bed in there. Okay, and then, of course, all the stuff that happened in the house, I mean, it's like my neighbor, Helena, says, well, she come over to feed the cats. And she noticed all the cupboard doors were open, and the bedroom and the bathroom doors were open, and she shut all the cupboard doors and shut the bedroom doors, and she petted the cats, and she fed the cats, and stayed there about 20, 30 minutes, talking to them, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. She left. She'd come back that afternoon, and the cupboards were open again, and so was the doors. So she proceeded to shut them all again. This time she poured on them to make sure they were all latched, okay? And she done her thing, and she left, and she come back the next morning, and the cupboard doors were open, and the bedroom doors were open, and the drawers were open, and she was totally freaked out. The cats was up on the landing trying to get out of the house, and she was totally paranoid and freaked. She realized we had an entity in her house, something in there, a ghost. This is what started all that, and my ex and I, Pam and me, we were very aware that that house had a ghost in it. Well, shortly after we'd gotten a new bed and I laid down to go to sleep, I closed my eyes. You know, when you just lay down for the very first time for the night, you close your eyes and not sleep, you just closed them, right? You're wide awake, you just closed them, okay? And the very second I closed them, I was watching TV. No lie, that's how clear the video was that was playing in my head. And that video was of my deceased younger brother, John, me and my ex getting up in the morning to go to work, and him following us out the door and climbing in our vehicle. I opened my eyes straight back up, and my gut went off and said, shit, the ghost in my house is John. Okay? Maybe he let something else in. I don't know, but the ghost in my house is John. Right? My brother. Then the house went quiet. Nothing ever happened in that house again. That's not a quinky dink. I'm telling you that right now. That was a message to me. He let me know he was in the house, and maybe something else followed him in, and he was leaving now. And that's exactly what he done. So don't go there, man. I believe what we really have is your so-called heaven is a dimension right here on earth. They've been flashing it in your face for a long, long time. What is the two websites Alex Jones has? The CIA agent Alex Jones. Do you know the two websites he has? Think about it. InfoWars, but that's not the one I'm concerned about. PrisonPlanet.com. We live on a prison planet. That's where we live. We are an energy form, and we are on a prison planet. And this planet probably has 6 dimensions, maybe even more. When you die, your soul leaves its vessel, your body, and you're automatically in the next realm because of your energy. So you've already crossed over just that quick. And I think you're right here on earth, and that's your heaven. Now, if you want your real heaven, you need to have love, you need to have care, and you need to know how to forgive others, because that creates a higher energy form that the demonic cannot feed on. That's the reason I'm doing this live stream. It's no accident that they destroyed the genders. It's no accident that they got us all fighting one another. It's no accident that we keep going to wars, because it keeps low vibration, which allows the demonic, the evil side, to run. You think there ain't no such thing as evil? You know, I went there with Nate years ago on my radio show. He told me there was no such thing as evil, and I said, so Nate, if I knocked you out when you didn't see me coming, you woke up tied to a chair, and I took a pair of clippers, and you couldn't get off this steel chair I had you fucking gagged and tied to and handcuffed to and shackled to, and I stood there over the top of you, and I freaking cut off one fingernail at a time, or one finger at a time, and threw salt in your open wound. Well, that would be how wrong? And I says, that would be evil. If I destroy you by lying to you and you really fall in love with me and I destroy you, okay, break your heart. You know all the love songs that sing about breaking your heart? You know all the things that they say in society about women. Oh my God, she's going to be a heartbreaker. Yep. And nobody cares when she breaks your heart because you know why? You're just a guy. Why are you just a guy? Well, because you're not a human. She's above you. Well, why is that? Because we had to manipulate this so that you'd all be fighting each other so you could be in a lower vibration. To prevent you from having a family unit where a woman and a man could fall in love with each other and have a higher energy form. Where evil wouldn't be able to rule over the top of you. But that's not the world you live in. You all chose evil. And it's not that you chose it because you wanted to choose it. It's because you've been lied to and manipulated so bad. So bad. See, I'm not even a Bible buff. That's what the kick of the ass is. You know, I've told people before, I understand that we were lied to in the Bible. I don't care what they tell me. I know what I was taught. Other people, no, that's not true, and it's this way. Well, there's your first red flag. The minute somebody else with the same religion as you says that's not true, but what you were taught in a church, in a Sunday school, on paperwork every week is exactly what I'm telling you that came from an actual real church, people saying and out of the same book they're holding, but they were taught something different. That should have sent up red flags. Means you're being lied to. But ain't that what's been going on as long as I've been alive? Yep, sure is. So no, with my life experiences, the house I grew up in, the many different things I've seen and witnessed and experienced. And my brother's experienced. This stuff's real. This is not no imagination. This is not no illusion. So ask yourself this. When you pass away, you find yourself still here on earth, but now there's another higher energy form controlling you, maybe inflicting pain on you. Well, what do you mean? You ain't in your body. You can't feel pain. How do you know that? How do you know you can't be controlled by higher energy form? I'm sure you can. Yep, I'm sure it could really mess you up. And you'd have no way out, would you? No. Because it's a different frequency than you and me. And if the only thing that'll protect you from this kind of stuff happening is to have a higher frequency, okay? And the only way you can achieve that higher frequency is to have real understanding, real care for everybody, regardless of skin color, gender, doesn't matter. Or whether you know them. It doesn't matter. You have to have real care for everybody. When you meet somebody and you're looking to put together in your life, you have to have that care. You have to respect each other. You got to be able to have open communication. And you got to be able to understand if you mess up and hurt her, you got to think about what your actions was. And if she does things that hurt you, she has to think about what she done. And how would she feel if that was done to her? Because the only way you're ever going to be able to rise above and keep that love is to understand each other and respect each other and not hurt each other. But today's society gets off on hurting other people and watching other people suffer. Once again, the lower vibration. Now, I don't know if you understand this because nobody's typing nothing. The last person, the only person who's ever typed in here so far is off the grid. Okay? I don't know if you can even wrap your mind around what I'm telling you. But if you can wrap your mind around what I'm telling you, then you can make sense out of a lot of stuff. See, just being awake to what's going on around you isn't going to guarantee you a happy ending when you leave this planet. No, you're not going back to the dirt. You're living a fairy tale. You're living a mirage. You're living the lie to think that you're just going back to the dirt and you ain't going to still be around. Because, oh, yes, you are going to still be around because you're an energy form. And David Icke is right. You have infinity. You're an energy form. You don't die. Your experience is your name, like my experience and my name. Okay? What I went through in this world is my experience in a short amount of time. Well, that's not short. It's a lifetime. A lifetime's a blink in the eye to infinity. Question is how many lives we lived. I mean, reincarnation's real. I'm curious to say, I looked into that shit pretty deep, and I'm telling you, that stuff is real. I wouldn't want to be a lower energy, go to the other side and have my consciousness wiped and put back to live in what's coming. What's coming. How many lifetimes have we had? You're not going to know because they wiped your consciousness. Don't think they can't do so. Yes, they can. They can do it right now. Right here on this planet, they can wipe your consciousness. You're talking about evil. You're talking about DARPA, CERN. Yeah, DARPA and CERN. Your agencies have the high technology. Through the globalist being controlled by demonic entity, they have technology you know nothing about. Because it's been hidden from us. But the reality is you're not allowed to know. Your education is it's just like your experience here is very, very, very little. You know very little. The only way you can know more is to educate yourself because they'll never teach you it. Never. You have to educate yourself and you have to pay attention to what's going on around you. You got to be open-minded. You got to be awake enough to be open-minded to look. But if you run on fear, that's a lower vibration. That'll help you all a lot. That'll keep you all messed up. You got to get tough skin. And that's all I got to tell you, man. You got to get tough skin. When you can get tough skin, you'll stand a chance. But you got to have tough skin. So the reality is understand this. None of this is an accident, and it's a lot more than just divide and conquer. You are an energy form. There is such thing as evil. There is demonic forms. Possession like The Exorcist that was played in the movies years ago was written on a true story that really happened. But it didn't happen to a little girl. Now, that was Hollywood spin. Okay, it did not happen to a little girl. It happened to a little boy. But you know how Hollywood is. We had to make the girl the victim because the boy's not allowed to be a victim. Isn't that right, Manosphere? And, you know, to keep it all fighting so we can keep that low energy going. So therefore, the boy can't be a victim, so we used a girl. Even though the boy was a victim in real life. Can another entity enter your body and control you? Possession? Yes, sirree, sure can. So just think, you cross over to the other side, we're into 2021, 2030, and the World's Economic Forum and the PDF file that we got sitting here, thanks to Harry finding that one. I probably would have found it if I kept looking, but I've taken a break from looking because I'm getting tired because I already see and know what's coming. So, but it's pretty interesting read, and a lot to read yet, but I've read quite a bit already. And I'll tell you what, their plans aren't good. Their plans are not good at all. Quite evil, but it fits right in. You know, the majority of us, if we don't get our heads out of you know what and step up against evil and simply say no and start coming back together again, that's right, caring about one another again, it's over. You've lost. You cannot continue to go the way you are and win anything. Because, see, the reality is you're going to wind up sorry that you didn't do, that you didn't care about others. That everything was a game to one-up each other. You're going to be sorry for that behavior. And most of you don't even see it coming. And by the time you see it coming and wish you could change it, you won't be able to change it. And you have some demonic being with total control over you on the other side. I mean, I'm sorry, but you will wish so bad that you had paid attention. And if you get put back and you have to live it again, and it gets even more uglier, I would suggest that hell is right here on earth. And that heaven is right here on earth as well, in a different dimension. And you can either have happiness or you can have a very, 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 very bad life after death. Because you're going to be you're going to be controlled by something you don't want to be controlled by. That's going to have more power than you, and you ain't going to be able to stop it. You're not going to ward it off because it fed on you, and it fed on you, and it's still feeding on you. Okay, you got to have an energy form that wards it off. Well, how are you going to have that? It's not on this planet unless you can have real care, real love, and know how to forgive people, and know how to put yourself in somebody else's shoes, and think about your own behaviors and how to make somebody feel and respect that and never do things that would hurt somebody else. Then you will boost your own energy form to a higher energy form merely just with that alone. But you have to be able to do them things. You can't be an egomaniac who's awake to what's going on and part of the problem. You can't be somebody who has absolutely no care but only about themselves. See, all of you people like that and the people in the manosphere all hating on each other, throwing each other under the bus every chance you get, you ain't got long to wait before you're going to test out the other side. Because if these people get their wants, which I suggest they will. And why do I want to say these people, this entity, the power to be, probably being controlled by Satan, a demonic force, okay? The reality is why do you think that this wouldn't be real? What makes you think this ain't real? I've had enough experiences in my life to know it is. Oh, because you haven't experienced it, because it sounds nuts to you, oh, because you think life is just the way it's always been, that it's about a game, it's about stepping on one another, it's about manning up and wanting up somebody else. It's about competing to put your penis in a hole. You know, when you pass out of this body, you ain't putting your penis in a hole on the other side. And she's not riding the penis carousel on the other side because there is none of that. You're not in this vessel no more. No, there isn't. The only thing that will follow you to the other side is your energy form, and that's love. Why do you think they slaughtered real love? Why do you think you can't find it? Because you don't know what you're doing. How many years have I told people they don't know what they're doing? What do people try to do with me? They try to argue with me and tell me that's not the way it is in today's world, Bill. Not understanding where they're rapidly taking themselves. And they don't understand it, don't see it. Not all of it's their fault. They've been led astray. They've been lied to their whole life. You know, I've been up here doing what I do for a lot of years, okay? And never once did I ever do it for money. Never once did I ever ask for a donation. Never once was I here about popularity, fame, and subs. That wasn't my motivation driver. My motivation driver was to help others. And I'm not even a Bible buff. I did that from my heart. I did that because I wanted to do that. Just like the rest of my life, I help people. I don't even know. I've done it my whole life. And some people love to take advantage of people like me because I help people out. I don't charge them nothing. That's typical in the world we live in. I don't let that affect me. I don't let the people online who attacked me all these years affect me in my personal life. Okay? Because I came up here with one intention in mind. And I actually care about everybody, and I don't care about your skin color. I don't care about your race. And this is for real. This is just who I've always been in real life. You know, and so I've always tried to help others because that's what's in my heart. What's in my heart is what's right for everybody. And so that's what I try, you know, and this is, you know, when Pam and I broke up many years back, after many years of being with her, and I was completely destroyed and crushed, okay, from the things that had taken place. And I look back at that and I realized the social engineering that went into the behavior. Because like the dating scene when I first came online, when I first started looking into this and I gave everybody TFL, and I was researching this, it was in the dating scene, it was in our behaviors. I wanted to know why. I was devastated from what happened to me, and I was devastated from witnessing what I was seeing going on, you know, and the behaviors of everybody around me, and the stories of all these different guys I met that were matching mine, and we didn't even know each other, especially when I traveled to the Philippines. It was a real eye-opener, okay? And it caused me to, you know, and I was staying with my brother who's now staying with me, okay? And I left Florida and I went and stayed with him, and I was up on the other side of my home state here in Iowa. And the person he was with, she went to church every Sunday with her kids, like reminded me of when I was a kid, okay? And my brother's tagging along with it, and so I went with him a few Sundays, and I hadn't been in the church in years, and they determined I should go with them. I should go with them, so I found, okay, I'll go with you. So I went in there, and I was sitting like on the left-hand side of the church, 3/4 way back. It was a pretty good-sized church, okay, with lots of pews, okay. You had a row in the middle, a row on the left, and a row on the right, okay, and they weren't short pews, okay, and there were a lot of people in there, and I was like, wow. So I sat 3/4 back, and I was in this pew, and this pastor starts speaking, and blew me away. Totally blew me away, and I'll tell you why. I had just gone through all the stuff that I had went through with my son's mother. My heart was ripped out. I was all messed up, and I walked in there, and this pastor starts talking about the very topic that destroyed me. Okay? The social engineering, divide and conquer the genders to break up the family unit. The cheating, the sex, you know, the stuff that goes on, and they're not treating each other properly. But He goes into this topic, and that just blew me away. It ain't like they went and told him blah, blah, blah. He didn't even know I was coming to this church. He'd never met me in my life. This guy didn't know anything about this, okay? And the next thing I know, he's not just talking about my issue, what I just went through. He's way up there on his freaking stage, and he's looking right at me. And I know you think I'm nuts. No, I'm not. I swear to God, he was looking me right in the eyes. And his eyes, oh, there was something about him, dude. There was just something about his eyes. And he was looking me right in the eyes, and it was like, wow, it just totally blew me away. The next time, the next service, he was there, blah, blah, blah. And he didn't look me in the eyes like he did that first time, right? The next time he actually looked me eye to eye, we were face to face, and my brother was getting married. And I got that same look in his eyes. And he don't have that all the time, and that same look just peered right into me. It was like looking right into me, okay? It was behind that I came up with the name TFL, and I came up online. So I can only say maybe divine intervention. Maybe I'm here for a reason. Maybe I was meant to do what I'm doing. I don't know. There's a million ways this could be, but I'm telling you, this is the real truth. And I'm telling you, if you do not learn how to get along, if you cannot forgive others and you don't have care and love, you're going to stay in a low vibration, a low energy form, and you're going to be easy picking for demonic. No lie, fact. Whether you believe me or not, this is why I came up into this live stream. I think it's crucial that you understand this. Because we've all been lied to so bad. And you're not going to be dead when you die. You're not going back to the dirt. But you could be really sorry. You could be enslaved, just like you already are, on a prison planet. You could be put back and have to live as another name and another body and go through it all again. And again and again. Would you want that? So maybe you better really think, because this stuff is quite real. I don't care what anybody says to me. I've had life experiences that I don't care if you say, oh no, I will. You can make up all the cop out you want. Because that's what I call people who try to dodge around it, It's no different when I tell them the story about what happened in my house I grew up in when I was a kid. No, it really happened, man. My first time I ever knew anything was when my older brother we slept on bunk beds, and he dove into my bed in the middle of the night, waking me up screaming and yelling. Somebody pulled him out of bed. I never believed him. I was pissed at him waking me up. I thought he just rolled over and fell out of bed. Okay, didn't believe him. And then one night we'd taken the bunk beds down and turned them into singles, because it was a steel bunk bed set that you could take apart and it became twins. You could have two twins or stack them on each other. So we had taken them apart and they were twins, and we separated. It wasn't on bunks that way. I had my bed where a window is, and the street light came in at nighttime. And I was in the front bedroom. It had a 3-bedroom house right across from the room that my mother and dad slept in. And I had my brother that's living with me now sleeping on the other side, and my older brother, and my youngest brother were sleeping in the other room. And I wake up to somebody squeezing my wrist. And I think it's my brother. I've got the street light shining on me. I'm wide awake, and I look at both of my arms, my hands, and there's a third hand wrapped around my wrist. I started to say, what the hell are you doing to him? And when I noticed he was in bed sleeping. And the house was completely quiet. Then I had a little heart attack. My heart started beating real fast, and I took my other hand, and I hit that freaking hand as hard as I could with my fist. And it left my wrist. I dove out of bed and hit the light and went looking for who the fuck grabbed my wrist, and there was nobody there. But guess what was there? The handprint around my wrist. That's what was there. was the handprint around my wrist. So now how'd that happen? See? Because it's real. We used to see a little cloud. All of us saw it, okay? I call it a little cloud. It was a little mini cloud. Didn't matter if it was daylight or dark. And it always seen it. The only spot we seen it was in the same area, and it floated across our dining room into our bathroom that one time was a bedroom. Years later, now I'm all grown up now in the house, and I'm watching a documentary on hauntings, and lo and behold, it wasn't showing me the same cloud we witnessed our whole life. And they had zoomed in on that cloud, and in the middle of that cloud was a human face. And that human face just happened to match the owner of the place that the house was haunted. The guy that had it built. I'm telling you, when you die, you're not dead. You are an energy form. I see Kevin's in here. Yeah, I would agree with Kevin. I think that I was meant to be doing what I was doing. I think that I was sent this way, and I think that day in that church, that pasture, I think that was something that was just, I can't tell you how it was, but I can tell you it was after that. The hurt that I was feeling from the breakup and everything that had taken place. And because I'm somebody that's always had true care all my life, okay, and not racist whatsoever. I actually care about everybody. I don't care where you're from, what your skin color. I've always been that way. So yeah, I think that maybe I was meant to do this, and I think this pastor saw that, and maybe that was divine intervention. Maybe our Creator coming through him into me. I don't know. I'm just going to tell you what really happened, and it was after that I gave people TFL. And I've been up here ever since, man. And it's a fight. We're literally in a war. We're in a war of evil versus good. I don't care what people say. That is where we're at. And if you want anything after this life, you better have love, you better have care, and you better know how to forgive other people. I wouldn't want to be in your shoes if you don't have them things, because I don't think it's going to be a good outcome for you. It's just too bad that things had to get so ugly, so evil, and people don't look into things and try to use common sense and logic and examine things and try to figure out exactly what's going on around you as close as you can come. They don't like people like me. They don't like people who do what I'm telling you to do. Because then you'll start seeing through the BS that we're surrounded by. Well, that was quick. I'm glad you dismissed it. 2 missed calls. How did I have 2? Oh, neither one's important, so good. Yeah, that was my phone. I typically don't answer my phone unless you're in the contacts list. Ah, hello, Mr. Netherlands. But that's the real reason I came up here, and I wanted to talk about this, because we are, even if the Bible is a written script, which I believe there's truth in the Bible, but it is a written script, okay? This is the reason you can look in the Bible and see the stuff planning out, because it's been done that way, If you want to hear my thoughts against the Bible, it's simple things like, you're going to tell me, see the story I was told? And this is where red flags go up, because other people argue and say that's not true. But to say that's not true when it came from a church is once again division. It tells you you're being lied to, because people are being taught this and people are being taught that and people are being taught this. And I'm sorry, if you had one creator, they're not going to have God's chosen people. That's a crock of crap. Like I said, man, so many lies. You just got to be able to sort it out and use your head. But I'll tell you where it's all at. It's all going to be at through care, forgiveness, and true love. Real love is a higher energy form. The dark side, the demonic, don't feed on that. They feed on low energy, low vibration. So this was an important topic that I needed to bring up, okay? Because in the manosphere, you need to understand, I've been telling you the root cause all along. And that goes for men and women alike. And as long as you continue to do what you're doing, ladies and men, as long as you continue to represent them behaviors and follow that low frequency, I don't want to be in your shoes. Many, many people's lives are being destroyed by this crap. Many, many people. We got millions of men all over the world whose lives have been completely ruined and destroyed. And for no reason whatsoever other than they can. Because of evil. Keeping that low vibration, huh? Yeah. And when you hurt somebody and they love you, you have to be able to recognize what your behavior did and how they feel in order to successfully be able to apologize and correct yourself so you don't do it again. If you can't do them things, you will fail. Because life isn't easy, and human beings are not perfect. We all make mistakes. But when you can be honest about your mistake and you can learn from your mistake and you can rise above it, you're going to become stronger. And if it's somebody you love and they love you, you need to correct these things. Or you're going to get drug out of a higher energy into a low vibration right where they want you. Sad, isn't it? That's where we're at. That's the reason I come up into this live stream. I'm not going to step here much longer. I appreciate Kevin being here and chiming into this chat, okay? See, Kevin, I really like Kevin, man. Kevin's got his stuff together. Kevin really is. He's a good man. Okay? Kevin been around a long time, man. Him and I used to talk quite a bit on my radio show and stuff, and I got to know Kevin over the years, and I'll tell you what, I got respect for Kevin. And when I seen Kevin in here, I already know he knows what I'm talking about. No doubts about it, man. Kevin knows full well what I'm talking about. Okay, and unfortunately, I can't say that about the majority of the people that I'm up here doing this for. You all know about TFL, True Force Loneliness, you know. Yeah, I'm the one that gave that to you. It was never Steve Holke. You know, you like first just trying to flip it and say Steve Holke was the founder. Well, that's what liars do, man. That is what deceivers do. That are working with the dark forces that are low vibration, that don't want you to rise above. They keep you in turmoil because that's what their job is for the tool money. Yeah. And so the reality is, you know, we're divided. We're divided because it was deliberately done to keep us in low vibration. The differences has been told to you throughout the many, many decades between genders. The majority of them is BS, complete lies. If there was that many differences between a man and woman, she wouldn't bear a boy. She couldn't bear a boy, no. She couldn't have a baby that was a boy. We're all human beings, men and women alike. We all have emotions and feelings, wants and needs. Men and women alike. But they don't want you knowing that. They want you divided. They want to control the population. They want population reduction. The birth rate's gone down in every single country across the globe, and it's not at replacement level in any country. By the year 2030, they want to have 90% of the world's population deceased. No lie. Fact. Updated PDF file from the World's Economic Forum. Yeah, by the year 2030, they plan on having 90% of the world's human population dead. And if for some reason they don't hit that level, then they'll use nukes to make sure they do. And the order followers are just going to go right ahead and do it. And there's going to be lots and lots of people crossing over. And so my question to you, where will you be? Will you be on a higher energy level? Will you? Or will you be on a low vibration level when you cross over? That's my question to you. Which one will you be? I know which one I want to be. I might stand somewhat of a chance because I've always actually had real care. Yeah, fear, anger, depression. Yep. They want anything that's a low vibration frequency because that's what they feed on. If you have real care, real love, and know how to forgive unconditionally and love unconditionally and care about everybody worldwide unconditionally as a human being, you don't have to care about people that are evil. You got to care in general for everybody like you do yourself. You got to be able to understand what real love and real care is, and you got to represent that and have that. That's what's going to give you that higher frequency and get you out of the low frequency. And it is what will protect you. Without that, you ain't got protection. And you think that demonic entities and stuff like that don't exist, you're wrong. You're totally wrong. And boy, I wouldn't want to find out I was wrong when I was dealing with what I couldn't even beat, couldn't fight against. And you had no way out because you chose your path. Because you're up here and you're choosing your path by your behaviors. And they're helping you choose your path by brainwashing you and teaching you a bunch of nonsense to lead you that direction. The only thing I want to say is be careful, but do understand life after death is real. Do understand what I'm telling you is the real truth, whether you want to hear it or not. Work on yourselves is all you can do. You can't make others do what's right. You have to start working on yourself to do what's right on others. And if you ever have to question yourself what's right on others, think about the things that you wouldn't like done to you. And if you wouldn't like something done to you, then you don't practice doing it to somebody else. I don't care if your ego says to do it. Your ego is corruption. You're going to wind up messing yourself over. See, look how bad the dating scene is. Look at how many men. The numbers are growing. TFL has done nothing but get bigger. More people. Every generation, there's more and more and more. All over the world. Completely destroyed relationships and genders. TFL was no accident. I'm just the guy that gave it a name. And I'm just the guy that just absolutely has real care and always have. And you can call me all the names you want. I'm used to it. I've been called names and attacked for years. You won't change my heart. You won't change my opinion. Because I'm going by what I know is the truth and what is right. And what happened in that church with that pastor? Well, I'll tell you what, it was real, and it really happened. So anyhow, I'm going to get out of here. But that's what I wanted to say. That's the reason I come up here. Okay, so I could get that out because I feel that needs to be out. This does tie into the dating scene. Well, of course it does. How would it not? It ties into your entire life. So just understand, the path you need to be on has everything to do with real care. Not what you're seeing online and not the fighting. If you're up here hate-mongering and blaming women for your blah, 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 you're never going to be able to do it, man. Never. And you women who are pointing your fingers at men and you're fucking playing the game and you're doing your thing, You ain't going to have any better success than the man, man. When you cross over, you're going to be at a world of hurt. This world don't have to be the way it is. We, the people, made it this way. For selfishness, which destroys. And with that being said, I'm out of here, guys, and you all have a good one.